Thank you, officer. Oh, God preserve us. No wonder the civil police is understaffed.
This interview is not to be recorded. On your feet, Mr. Carl.
Yes, Commissioner Hallam. Anything to get away from your tea? Commissioner, am I under arrest? If so, I think I should tell you I have not been cautioned or charged.
That can be arranged.
You sound just like the PCD.
And you have a nice line in insults. No, Mr. Carl. We're civil. The second-class police force. The street sweepers that clear up after the politicals.
The charge, Commissioner.
Criminal conspiracy is always a good catch-all.
I think I would prefer loitering. I am better at that.
You should be. It's your job. And I'm glad you brought it up. How much do you know about William Granger?
Well, he's the chairman of a private security outfit, Care Guard.
Go on.
Helmets, clubs, brave public image.
Yes.
Dogs, bank deliveries, bodyguards.
Sort of protection that an understaffed and underpaid civil police force can't provide. Sometimes wouldn't want to. All right, there are about half a dozen security firms we're grateful to. We need their help. But not from Granger or Care Guard.
The PCD love them. Lots of free and sometimes coerced information. Granger, rolling in money and influence. Very pally with Herbert Scarden. His outfit, well, anybody prepared to take orders, clout heads, ask questions afterwards.
Mr. Granger, Blaine is here.
And on time.
He has a hanger-on he insisted on bringing with him.
All right, Tony, I'll deal with it. But wait on. Oh, Blenny.
Granger?
You stay, not the hanger-on, you out.
I'm nobody's hanger-on, Granger, and I'm not one of your paid goons either. But I have some heavy friends who could take them on in regiments.
He's with me. He'll be able to help.
Sir Brennan, you photograph him on the way out.
Yes, sir.
You wouldn't be given time to reach your friends. Don't be insolent again. Him help how, Blenny?
Well, if it's the Billingham depot job you wanted to talk about.
Harry, you amaze me. Spiv, thief, black marketeer, now crystal gazer.
No magic. But I did hear that Care Guard were in charge of the security.
Some of my top officers.
Probably got a bit rough up there for a while.
Yes, it did. I sent you the injuries bill. You stole 30 armored car engines from a PCD establishment under our charge. And Care Guard is very, very punctilious about its PCD assignments.
So you should be. Herbert Scarden gives you enough work.
Control it, Scarden, do you? Blaney, you're going to give those engines back.
If he's sure I did it, why don't you just turn me over to the keen fella, this Commissioner Hallam?
Because I have a small private interest. You can keep 5 engines. I want 10. The other 15 engines is the number which will be officially returned, plus a culprit who will know nothing about this distribution.
What culprit?
The man who did it, your friend and assistant Digger Radford, injuring some of my best constables in the process. You were there too, and I have infrared prints to prove it. By the end of the week. Yeah. What's he doing here?
I've just got this nasty feeling I've been appointed his welfare officer.
You can go now.
Of course, you could ask for access to the Public Control Department file on Granger. Tell Herbert Scarden I sent you.
And?
Well, you'll get a memo and a polite refusal. Now, you lay a glove on Care Guard, you'll bounce off the PCD like a little rubber ball, Commissioner of Civil Police or not. Care Guard is far too useful to the PCD.
Even so, it's still being tried.
I wish you luck.
Meanwhile, I want all you can dig up on Granger. Ask your friends. The underground press, for example. Some of your other acquaintances. Perhaps in imports? Even though we haven't pinched you, Kyle, it doesn't mean that we haven't got you all sewn up.
Look, I don't know why everybody keeps threatening me. I am a simple journalist trying to turn an honest crust. And you, Commissioner, in the old days, before all this obscenity set in, you would have been described as an honest copper. You can try and rig a case against me. I don't think you'd make it stick. Even under the pantomime travesties of our present courts of law. May I go now?
Yes, of course. Go to work. With the Home Secretary's blessing.
Ah, the delectable Kate. Well, of course, she wouldn't want Herbert Scarden to have his own private army, would she? Why didn't you tell me that in the first place? You know how patriotic I am.
I took this recorder from Blaney's hanger-on.
Bulky rubbish.
British made.
I'm glad we used the Japanese ones. Tony, I want you to clear the east vehicle shed and arrange for 10 new appliances to be built very, very quietly.
Yes, sir. May I ask why?
Sit down. Very interesting luncheon last week. For your ears only, Superintendent Borden.
Excellent. Nothing beats homegrown asparagus.
We were lucky with the weather.
With Herbert Scarden.
I take it we're debugged.
Your own staff ran sensors over the office 20 minutes ago.
The
Didn't run a sensor over me.
As you know, elections are in the offing. As soon as our political meteorologists wet their fingers and the wind's right, it'll need supervision, which the PCD will provide, and probably a backup service.
More than happy to tender for it.
I'll let you know the contract price. Careguard will get the job. Should be lucrative.
I'm grateful.
Don't be. Nothing's free. I'll need about 20 safe vehicles on 24-hour call to deliver ballot boxes to a central depot. On a private basis.
Of course.
Simple enough, sir, but why?
The realms of educated theory, Tony. Herbert Scarden's latest friend has risen quite rapidly to be a senior computer programmer with the Department of the Environment. Now, it's a bad girl. Deserves it. As you know, medical treatment is allocated according to citizen status and proved by...
By thumbprint, sir.
By thumbprint, indeed, Tony. Now, you're voting, You put a cross on that, vote with it, put it in a box.
Yes, sir.
Exactly. The cross will show who you voted for. Your thumbprint will tell Scarden who you are. If Scarden, or rather, when Scarden, puts voting papers with their thumbprints through the computers of the Department of the Environment, he will be the first man in British democratic history to know exactly how 90% of the electorate voted. And with that sort of knowledge...
Commissioner, there's a very good reason for the civil police being denied full access to PCD files. You bring criminal charges. Very laudable, too. Evidence is made public, a conviction results. Excellent. But if that conviction is at the expense of highly sensitive political information being spouted from the witness box, then you must see where my duty and the country's welfare lies.
I've never seen that, Mrs. Scarden. But then I've never seen the need for a double standard for justice either.
What a naive and outdated simplification.
I was called an honest copper this morning. I hadn't heard the phrase for years. And I'd still like the file on William Granger and Careguard.
Why? The man's as dedicated to community service as you or I. He has close on 400 stations up and down the country, manned by diligent constables who are sometimes very useful in reporting examples of political misdemeanor...
But not criminal.
Dissidence, subversion.
Using their own methods.
Oh, come now, Commissioner. You've already sent me a copy of this. Fatalities incurred during bank deliveries, factory inspections, that sort of thing.
Not incurred, Mr. Scarden. Inflicted by care guard. Dead people.
There really is
Oh,
no
yes,
way
yes,
that...
I know you can't guard an omelette without breaking eggs. But there's only one civil police force in this country, and I run it.
Professional pique?
No, my job and a dislike of violence. Here, try this. It's a cabinet dispensation.
Instructing me to cooperate to the full. Signed by our lately nubile Ms. Goodness, how I hate that noise, Kate Smith, Home Secretary.
The file, please.
The legislation on cabinet dispensations was drawn up by civil servants. Civil servants take care of their own. I believe I have 24 hours to check on the authenticity of
A
this.
certified messenger will be waiting. Good day.
Thank you for dropping in.
Made in Yokohama.
Had a Japanese meal once. I didn't like it.
You like this?
You can keep 5 engines. I want 10.
Question is what to do with it. Now, you're pretty big up north. You run things.
Oh, Granger's bigger. And he's respectable. Oh, I could take him on. But it'd be like doubling the police force against me as well as the PCD. Oh, he can have his bloody engines back and welcome, but he's not having Digger.
Well, I can disappear. I've done it before.
Stay out of it, Digger. Leave your brains to your biceps where they belong. Granger would have you in 5 minutes. When your clever pal was a non-citizen, Digger helped out.
For which I shall be forever thankful. Never did fancy scabies much. What's up?
Care guard. Granger.
Snap.
How does Granger get away with it?
Oh, that's easy. Comes under the 1990 Mutual Back Scratchers Act. First, care guard is an efficient squealer to the PCD. And they're free, which makes Herbert Scarden's budget look good.
Hasn't he got enough snoopers of his own?
Number 2, any top civil servant or MP taking his 3 months recuperative leave merely phones Granger and gets his house looked after, also free. That's to stop broken noses like you, Digger, stripping him right down to his scullery taps.
Oh, charming.
Now, number 3, if the PCD want a strange face to infiltrate any political gathering, then care guard can supply some of the strangest faces you ever did see.
Can you tell us how to hand the engines over without Digger?
No.
Oh, so Digger goes to Jug, then to a rehabilitation center to have his brains cabbaged.
No.
Me, Tars, and you, Jane. Can you tell us what the hell we do then?
Yes. We give Granger Digger and the engines.
Now, look,
you tell me
Kyle.
where and when.
I've seen him work. It's my neck. If he says, stick it out, that's exactly what I'll do.
At 24, it gets rather badly. I got a different view. At 35, I'm flirting sadly with 2 or 3 or more. When you fancy his past love, why, it's then he meets his last love. Thank you, Barbara, my dear.
All part of the service.
Count me as a satisfied customer.
Sometimes that's how it feels.
I know. I'm just a selfish bachelor with an allergy to wedding bells. But you have gone up 3 grades in seniority since our romance blossomed.
Favor for favor,
We like each other. And now that you've signed the official Secrets Act,
which you administer,
one of my many burdens,
and I run my small D&V computer section,
not small.
comparatively. I unpacked your dinner jacket.
Thank you.
Who's the lucky host tonight?
Nigerian ambassador. Do you know he was educated here? Eton in the old days. The school chums still call him Sunburn.
Spreading your social wings lately, aren't you? Cubans, Saudis last week, Nigerians this.
And I'm golfing with a Brazilian at the weekend.
The little black book, the private shorthand.
All the dirt that should be under the carpet, and isn't.
One night, I'll drug you and take it from under the pillow.
That's why I never stay the night.
Will you be back later?
No, you know I won't.
I think I love you.
Love. One of the stranger four-letter words.
You could come back. You don't have a wife to go home to.
No. Just a career. It seems to be fraying slightly at the edges lately. And who'd have thought it?
The main thing is timing. It's got to be exact. By the way, how did Granger know that it was Digger who nicked the engines in the first place?
Photos. And then I was fool enough to give him a bonus. He spent it on Sandra Casey.
She'd dry her knickers on the kettle on, Digger.
I like her. It was the best I could do at short notice. It's all right for you. Nobody'd fancy me free, not even as a mantel shelf ornament.
Amen to that.
Who are you?
That's none of your business.
Oh, it is if I make it.
Try. Like a warrant to start with?
These?
Oh, I like that. Could you send for some more when I'm finished?
You're for later in the dock singing. I asked you a question.
Let's paint the picture on you first, shall we? You're Anthony St. John Borden, and you're a child molester.
Really?
Really. You beat the one charge that Hallam could ever lay on you with care guard money and a suborned jury. Hasn't altered your habits much, though, has it? You still wander the slums at night with your uniform beef, looking for children who have nowhere to sleep.
Finished?
One day, a vigilante squad is going to catch up with you, and the best that you can hope for is that you'll turn out to be a soprano. You, sir, are a maggot.
No, I think you'd better come along with us.
Digger.
He'll leave when he's ready. And don't hang about outside, because we're just as good in the street. Better even, because I join and I need the fresh air. You'll keep.
I hope so. Digger, camera.
No pictures, Whacker. You passed it for what the butler saw. Out!
I like to look after my clever pals.
Don't stop now, will you?
Splendid lunch, as usual, William. Don't know how you do it.
If I'm going to lose money on my farm, the one consolation I can manage is fresh meat and vegetables. And I should be grateful to you. All the same, it is a bit worrying.
Routine. But I thought you should know. I'll meet the Home Secretary's request for the care guard file. Can't do otherwise. But it'll be the edited version. No reference to our election plans or any of our other projects.
There'll be nothing on our records.
Nothing that can be reached.
Good. Tony Borden ran into a chap that you might know the other day, Brenda. He was on the criminal fringes. Early 40s, lean face, blue eyes. Very, very well informed.
Easy. Kyle.
Kyle.
Journalist, muckraker.
Important?
Nothing.
He upset Tony. I think he might just have earned himself the mother and father of a good hiding.
Oh, dear. Has he really?
So, could you promise immunity for a man who had stolen 30 PCD armored car engines if I could prove to you that Granger and Borden were implicated?
I'd consider the case on its merit.
No immunity, no deal.
Details first.
On Thursday at 9 p.m., a known villain, one Digger Redford, will be apprehended by care guard with 15 armored car engines in his possession. However, Commissioner, if you get there earlier, you will find Granger and Borden supervising with 25 armored car engines in their possession. Proof?
You can keep 5 engines. I want 10.
The voice print will be authenticated as Granger's.
I better take that then.
With respect, Commissioner. Digger's immunity first.
You're not the most trusting soul in the world, are you, Kyle?
Do you think I've lived so long?
Deal.
Yes, Miss Skinner, I heard. The Right Honourable Kate Smith, Home Secretary, is on her way up. I am standing, prepared to genuflect.
You'd better, Herbert.
Can't, Home Secretary. Injuries sustained in youth. Choir boy's knee.
You will give Hallam the Careguard files.
I was entitled to query the reason.
Law of the state.
Which the underground press is now calling the law of the Kate.
Herbert, when I chop you off at the early pension, I shall miss you. One of the few bureaucrats who takes his political masters for the puppets they are. And plays his own snakes and ladders.
Not ladders, Home Secretary. Heights disturb me.
No, you're right. Tunnels.
Better. Quieter, too. Thank you, Miss Skinner. The Careguard file.
Thank you. Do you take advice?
It's listed as one of my hobbies.
You run the Public Control Department. You have a file and surveillance on me and on every one of our elected parliament. I have to be Caesar's wife beyond reproach, and I am. No indiscretions. The straight line of national conformity, and never forget it. And yes, with a weak husband who's a failed writer, perhaps a failed priest, who drinks too much, and whose mistakes are all documented by you, but it gives you no lever, Herbert. Never forget that either. Concentrate on survival.
Kyle's philosophy. Must be catching.
It's endemic to anyone in 1990 who uses his wits. I was reading yesterday about the history of amusement arcades. A device was invented which let you press a button and stir up a nest of ants and watch them through glass. That's what we're doing, Herbert, only the ants are human beings, and our society, the watchers and the watched. But you must never forget that you always need a penny for the machine. If you want to be the watcher, you must pay the price.
Yes.
A call for the Home Secretary on the private line.
Yes? I see. Thank you. Commissioner Hallam tells me we don't need these files now. We can get along without you very well.
Except perhaps in spring. They don't write songs like that anymore. Is that the object of the exercise? To prove that I'm not indispensable?
Nobody is, Herbert. In the PCD, you have built the world's best instrument for control and coercion. I'm authorized to look at every nut and bolt. But you also converted an official arrangement with Careguard into a very influential toy for your own private use. I have no authority over that, and I don't like it. There's such a thing as taking out too much insurance, Herbert. Enjoy your Brazilian golf at the weekend. He cheats, by the way.
Don't we all?
I told you you'd keep.
Sergeant? Hello. Thank you. How'd you know where to find me?
We didn't. We found Borden. We're leaving him loose. Keeping an eye on him for the big switch later on. Sergeant, you can hold the hooligans for causing an affray.
Sir.
They'll get away with it as usual. Claim that they were working. But a night in a rough nick will help to take the crease out of their uniforms, I think. Unless you want to prefer charges.
I prefer a drink.
Thank you. This, of course, is a social visit, quite unofficial.
Always a pleasure to see you, Controller.
The ballot box delivery we were talking of.
It's being planned and kept very confidential.
Good. It's important to me. Looks like becoming more so. I wouldn't want it jeopardized.
I don't see why it should be.
My suspicious nature. I find it strange that the care guard file is requisitioned at high level and then rejected because of one confident phone call from Commissioner Harrow. If care guard has any, how to put it, small private projects, I suggest that both you and your assistant stay well clear of them.
Excuse me.
Yes, sir?
You are to reach Superintendent Borden and tell him to report here immediately. Repeat, immediately. And cancel my own special copies. And tonight's assignment, detach another squad.
Very good, sir.
Cans are always there to be carried by other people.
Why bring him in here?
Walking the hard night pavements, ma'am. Gentleman Samaritan enough to pick me up.
Save your sense of humor for my PCD, Kyle. They need it.
Your PCD, Home Secretary?
Yes.
So,
Oh, yes. Thank you. Yes? Yes, yes, I'm reading you nice and clear. Oh. Oh, really? 15 engines winched into a care guard vehicle, 10 others loaded by care guard men into a plain wagon with false registration plates. What's that? Confirm that last item, would you please? Yes, yes, I've got all that. What lousy luck. No, no, it wasn't your fault. Oh, you've done well. No Granger, no Borden.
Damn.
They can just sit there, fat and happy, and say, please, sir, it was just dishonest employees moonlighting, and we knew nothing about it. And then they can go out and hire another bunch of thugs to replace the one we've got.
Not your fault, Commissioner. You did your best. I owe you a favor.
If you really want to do us a favor, Home Secretary, disband us. All we do is trail around behind the PCD. Granger and Borden should have been there, according to one suburb.
Sir?
Thank you. Oh. And you know why they weren't? They were tipped off by the PCD. Followers report on Herbert's garden. He was in the care guard offices tonight.
But he knew nothing about all this.
No, there's nothing I can prove. Oh, by the way, Digger's been released after a statement.
Thank you.
He was knocked about a bit, but not as much as a few of the others. An import-export agent called Brett and a North Country businessman by the name of Blaney just happened to be passing with a crowbar each.
Well, they're always passing somewhere.
You sound as if you're working on this as a story, Kyle.
Home Secretary, I have a managing editor who is so debased, he needs a stepladder to climb up to a toadstool, which is where he lives. You should know you had him appointed. I write the stories, he throws them away. No, I was conscripted into this business by an honest copper, as well you know.
Who nominated the district where this pickup took place?
I did.
Why?
Because the magistrate who sits there knows he's dying. He's got nothing to lose. He might be honest. You, of course, could replace him with one telephone call. If you didn't, he'd accept the charge against Granger of receiving. And he might make it stick.
You can keep 5 engines. I want 10.
Thank you, Commissioner, for the lift. Home Secretary.
Well, Home Secretary?
We might make it stick. Charge Granger with receiving Hallam and Borden as an accomplice. Pick them up now.
There will be a meeting of the Leisure Activities Committee in the Blue Area Lounge at 9 o'clock this evening. Thank you.
I enjoyed some of that. I thought you were supposed to be out of practice.
Oh, not him. Never. When he was in the Prem, he used to hit his ante with a titty bottle.
You look fragile.
Yes, I feel it. You all right? Yes, snap. Oh. Goldilocks and 3 bruises. Having quite a time tonight.
Had its moments. No Granger or Borden, though.
I know, Dave, I know. I'm working on it. Someone get me a coffee. Thanks. Whoa.
My next visitor is not to be logged, and I want a total surveillance blackout in this office.
Yes, sir.
Come here. Sit down. There!
The charge is preposterous, and the magistrate's hearing was a farce.
You are still remanded to a People's Higher Court.
Where the best citizens' advocates in the country will make an idiot of you.
With your money. Bought justice.
I opposed bail, and I meant it, and I lost. So take a warning, Granger. Don't skip. My guard's on your private plane, and your motor cruiser's been impounded. And don't try the underground routes. They wouldn't touch you, even covered by disinfectant. Now clear out.
But, Controller... But that's nothing! Listen. This is magistrate's deposition, which will go to higher court. It lists evidence, and the case against you is concrete, solid. An authenticated tape of your own voice giving instructions about the engines, and testimony from 2 of your turncoat staff that you intended to be there, and the Home Secretary's mandatory conviction order, so you can forget about lawyers.
I go to prison? Me?
Yes. And Borden. Now, the other convicts will welcome you in the exercise yard with feet and lead pipes.
Can't you do anything?
No.
Why?
Because that's exactly what the Home Secretary wants. Confrontation, eyeball to eyeball, as some people unhygienically put it. And I might lose. And I can't risk that.
I can't go to prison.
I agree. Both you and Borden would crack in a week. And I wouldn't want 2 sets of confidential testimony about our odd and minor transactions put on file against me, especially the ballot box venture. Salome Smith would have my head on a platter.
Well, what?
Leave the country.
How? You heard Hallam. Nobody can leave this country. Who would help us?
Someone might.
Who?
Based on rumor only. I wish it were more.
Attention, please. Remember, your loyalty is with your government. Any subversive activity to be reported immediately to the Public Control Department.
You seem to live here these days.
Why not? If I go back to the newspaper, I'm only allowed to write the weather report, and I have to tell lies about that.
I see Granger got bail then.
Yeah.
Oh, well, it'll give him a few more days to walk around his potato patch laughing.
What'd you say?
Laughing.
No, before that.
Potato patch. Well, you know, that dirty great farm he's got. He's loaded that bloke. Thousands and thousands of...
Acres. Acres and acres of acres. Of course, he's got a farm. Thank you, dear. I think Mr. Granger needs help.
From us?
Yes.
I think you've slipped a hinge. Never mind. Cold compress and we'll measure your head.
Listen, Dave. Who are we really out to nail? Care Guard? PCD? Scarden?
All the bastards.
Ah, no. No, Scarden I'm going to save for the Human Rights Tribunal. Get to the telephone. Ring Granger. I want him here as soon as possible. You scorch around to my so-called newspaper. I want you to find the head of the picture library. His name is Frank Fenton. He's a gentle soul, so don't pick him up under one arm, all right? Now, I'm interested in every publicity shot available of Granger and Borden. Particularly, I'm interested in the ones of Squire Granger strolling over his acres. Have you got it?
Got it.
Get it.
Well, looks like somebody's down for a deal of trouble. I owe you. Anything I can do?
Oh, yes, Mr. Blaine, there is. I need a photographer, a good one. So, you get one from one of your pawn pals, all right? Want him to stand by on call for a straight deal.
Right.
On his way, delighted.
Right. Now, squeeze Borden.
Pleasure by the throat, slowly.
By the memory. Information.
What's wrong with both?
Dave.
Throw some fish to the seals, Borden. They're bothering me.
State your business.
Oh! Oh, snot-nosed me. Your boss just left in a hurry and you won't be seeing him again. Unless I get the private files and you do a lot of talking, he'll leave the country without you. Convince me and you just might get a ticket.
We can get you to Denmark.
I prefer France.
Naturally. It's nearer Switzerland. Denmark, it's an ultimatum.
I'm prepared to pay much more than the going rate.
Your money would stink the place out. You'll be at 9 Elms, State Vegetable and Produce Center between 6 and 7 tomorrow morning. You may have to walk around for a bit.
Why that?
Because I say so. And if you want to get out, that's precisely where you'll
Would
be.
members please note that there will be an increase in the drinking hours as from the 27th of next March. Additional vouchers may be obtained from the Secretary's office.
Hey, Digger. That's very good of the pair of them, but
This is the 3-minute warning for the commencement of the Advanced Political Discussion Group C meeting in the Blue Area Conference Room.
The things I do for England. I just reached Tilbury as our boys were whistling Granger on board and up the crew's gangplank.
Did you give them the other pictures and the note for Mr. Torland?
Yep.
How did you bribe Borden?
Knuckles,
Nothing
and
else?
a ticket. Don't lean on it, Jim. I wanted to kill him. And I didn't. I just like children. We all like children.
Surely, Home Secretary, the whereabouts and behaviour of suspects on bail is the responsibility of the civil police.
Not when I receive a diplomatic cable from Copenhagen asking me to confirm their identity. It's the Public Control Department's job to ensure that there is no illegal immigration. Granger and Borden are in Denmark. So the buck stops here, Scarden. And in the morning, you will receive a designated cabinet reprimand, and you only need one more to end up as a Social Security door knocker in somewhere like Blundell Sands, if you're lucky.
Home Secretary. Is this business or social?
Neither.
Still, I'm honored. One of your valuable allocated luncheons here at the Leaders Club. I hoped it would be social. Thank you. Naturally.
No, waiter. My guest will not have steak tartare. His hormones are quite active enough without raw meat.
I won't have steak tartare. I'll have the fish. Not that I'm allowed to use my brains much anymore.
2 Dover sole and some green salad.
1 with chips.
If you could print anything, what would you print?
As always, fairy tales.
Coincidence. I heard a story from Hans Christian Andersen land only this morning. Once upon a time, there was this prosperous farming community, and 2 wicked Englishmen arrived there called Granger and Borden.
Straight from England?
Yes.
Oh, the disease carrier of the world.
Agriculturally speaking, I hope you mean.
Oh, yes, of course. Foul pest, swine fever, foot and mouth, Colorado beetle. Still, we spend so much time destroying so-called human parasites these days to worry about the real parasites that ruin the crops that people eat. Do you know there isn't a country in the world that respects our agricultural sanctions anymore, which is a pity, because they were the best in food-growing history. Oh, I'm sorry, Home Secretary, you were saying, once upon a time.
You've told it. The Danes couldn't risk their farms. And somebody had sent them photographs of these Englishmen on an English farm and wandering around the state produce department at 9 Elms.
Oh, dear, oh, dear. So, of course, the Danes took all their money from them in fines for endangering their country's major industry and put them into prison.
I asked for extradition. It was refused.
Yes, very stubborn, the Danes. So, all our little pigs died happily ever after, but not their little pigs. Herbert Scarden must have been very sad. And you, of course, and very angry with Herbert.
And you were very pleased.
Oh, yes, yes, I was. Well, you and he at each other's throat. That's my favorite spectator sport. And you'll never know exactly how it happened, will you? And Herbert will never tell you. And the Danes don't have torture in their prisons, so...
Off the bone, please.
Everything is being filleted these days, love. The Home Secretary.